I'm really puzzled by this country's descent into global silence. Is it a media issue? From the Arab world, the Islamic world, and the world in general about following the events of this phenomenon, the phenomenon of the fall of a state in silence. We notice this in our channel when we talk about this topic. The issue of this country specifically, you do not receive much interaction from the public, something striking. Until now, I am not able to know the reason, because the country we are talking about is a large country, a great country, a country with a history, a very influential country, strategically, a country A, in which it has huge potential. It is expected to have a good future if it is managed well. During this time, there's a significant risk if you fall. Sudan is the country I'm talking about. Sudan is a life that is unjustifiably neglected in the media because the size of the state, its capabilities, and its strategic danger, in addition to the size of the tragedy that is taking place inside it, makes it assumed that when a problem occurs in it, the entire Arab and Islamic world is exposed to this problem. Oh, Sudan has a tragedy. It has entered its third uncle. Now, the ongoing war in Sudan from 4/15/2023 AD, meaning that after 2 years, we have entered the third year of the ongoing war between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces. In this episode, I only recall the magnitude of the tragedy, and I call on the rational people of the nation to intervene in this matter and to save this country from this huge, great tragedy that is worsening day after day. If we talk about the human loss in this war or in this tragedy, we will find horrific numbers. More than 190,000 have died in this story so far. Of course, the estimates are the first, and all numbers are subject to increase and decrease, because documented information is not available. Complete and Mayash means very accurate and conflicting, because there are members from each team sharing information that may contain some kind of training or difference. But in general, the dead are approximately more than 190,000. This means that a Muslim in Sudan died in the past 2 years. The missing persons are more than 50,000. This may remain a prisoner of one of the parties or killed, but this means that his body has not been seen yet. That is why more than 50,000 are missing. There is no accurate count of the wounded, but it is certain, of course, if we say 190,000 dead, then I do not reduce 1,000,000, which means 5 times that number. There are injuries and maybe permanent disabilities. The great disaster in human losses is not just loyalty or wounds. No, there are huge pains that people endure as human beings, including, for example, rape inside. In these human losses, there are a very large number of raped women in Sudan, which is a very painful thing. Someone says this, and he is not able to understand it. Rapid Support Forces. From gangs, meaning they do not have any officer of morals, religion, custom, or anything. They do not have a rule on which to base a ruling. This means that they have a terrible series of rape of women in Sudan, execution without trial, and torture in the prisons before death. I mean, this is something, of course, of terrible things. And otherwise, they still have time bombs, meaning the human losses are the numbers we said, including unexploded ordnance. In every country, in buildings, in the streets, in agricultural lands, elsewhere, there are bombs that have not exploded, and it is very possible for anyone to step on them. This is considered like mines that may explode, or a child playing in them, or something that means something, the truth, very dangerous. All of this is under the item of human loss. The second item is very, very dangerous, displacement, the displacement of people from their homes. We are talking about 15,000 displaced people. So do you understand this number? 15,000 displaced. I mean, almost followed the Sudanese people. We are talking about alarming numbers of them. More than 3,000 displaced outside Sudan in the ocean country. And and about 12,000 internally displaced people from country to country, or from their country to outside the country in a camp. So something very ugly, the issue of displacement. Maybe there is no country. He got these numbers. The accelerations, oh God, it's secret. I mean, Syria is also, we ask God Almighty for the safety of all Muslim countries. I mean, more than 60% of the Syrian people were exposed to such equality. Not 33, 130, 160%. Displacement of looting on a large scale in Sudan. The looting at the level of private property and public property, property belonging to the homes of people who will return to their homes after displacement, will not find anything in the house. Gangs fear for homes. They steal everything in them that means something ugly and even. And public property, they plundered everything until they plundered the Al Jazeera project. The Al Jazeera project is the largest irrigated project in the world. 2,000 acres were plundered. All of his products looted museums, looted antiquities, meaning they looted buildings and government bodies. Something very terrible. Diseases and epidemics. This is another title. Diseases and epidemics have happened and there is nothing wrong with it. Cholera, we talked about in an episode here of WHO, in the channel on the kidney epidemic and its spread and outbreak in Sudan. Malaria, dengue fever, meaning more measles, rubella, etc., is a rampant disease, and there is no possibility of vaccination due to the circumstances, the war that exists. So it is possible that more and more infections will occur, and on the scale of the vast, can lead to disasters and death. Economic collapse, everything disrupted, agriculture neglected, markets destroyed, trade stopped. The country is economically collapsed. Hunger, our brothers hunger. 30,000 Sudanese in need of relief, needing assistance, of whom 25,000 of the 30,000 are on the verge of famine, meaning it could be a deadly famine, suffering from hunger, needing to eat. We are talking about 25,000 out of 50,000 people. Sudanese is a very ugly thing, children and education. Education has become in the first numbers. This is something on both sides of the children. We have 17,000 Sudanese children. They were deprived of education in the past 2 years. They did not go to schools. Schools were closed. For us, this means a tragedy. The school years are delayed by 2 years. They have lost their age. And teachers that he laid off, 500,000 teachers that he no longer has. Teachers now pursue alternate jobs for survival, whether displaced in neighboring countries, while Sudan's educational infrastructure lies crippled. The infrastructure was destroyed to a very large extent, and a very large number of hospitals were bombed, hospitals were out of work, government agencies that we were still reading about, Omdurman stations, electricity was hit, and therefore there was no longer water production, and water became in long queues on underground wells. So that water from underground wells in a country like Sudan has rivers like this, but there is no production. Water is a very difficult thing, of course, in addition to the road infrastructure that has been destroyed, and therefore it will disrupt any future development project. Above all of this, the danger of division, and the danger of division is very likely that it will happen, because until now the issue has not been resolved in Sudan. The entry of the army, as we have known in the past weeks, into Khartoum, into Al Jazeera state, and into the presidential palace in Khartoum. All of this is not tactical, the scene in front of us, but the issue has not been resolved. 4 of the 5 states in Darfur are still in the hands of the Rapid Support Forces, and the city of El Fasher in North Darfur is still feeling besieged. The siege means that more than 50 attacks by the Rapid Support Forces failed, and the problems that occurred in Khartoum in recent days caused the Rapid Support Forces to retreat in Darfur and in Al-Fashil, and led to massacres such as the Zamzam massacre, which is still close. More than 400 people, maybe more than that as well, and thousands have been displaced, and it is expected that there will be other massacres in these circumstances. The issue of separation and the division of the state into 2 parts is not a strange thing in Sudan. In 2011, South Sudan separated from Sudan, which means that this separation may occur if the issue is neglected. The truth is that the previous initiatives that took place during the past 2 years did not succeed, nor did any of the initiatives. The reform until now has succeeded. There were initiatives from Sudanese parties, and there was an initiative from Egypt, an initiative from Saudi Arabia, an initiative from Turkey, an initiative from Libya, an initiative from the African Union, and an initiative from IGAD. This means that no body or body has succeeded in reaching a solution to this problem. The Arab countries must be at the forefront of it. Of course, Egypt and Saudi Arabia, if they take the initiative on this issue and quickly resolve it before the collapse of the state and before more lives are lost and the state sinks. He will be in a quagmire from which there is no way out if it went on longer than that. We ask God Almighty to protect Sudan and protect Muslims. God's grace offers blessings, peace, mercy and blessings.